What if I told you the biggest lie about discipline isn't that it's hard, it's that it depends on willpower? Because if that were true, Olympic champions shouldn't exist. And I don't mean they'd be less successful. I mean, they shouldn't exist at all. Because here's the story we've all been taught. That Kobe Bryant woke up every morning for 20 years, looked at another brutal workout, didn't feel like doing it, and somehow forced himself anyway. Again, and again, and again. Not just Kobe. Michael Phelps, Cristiano Ronaldo, every Olympic champion, every world-class performer, every single day. Does that honestly sound like how the human brain works? Or does it sound like the greatest myth modern self-improvement has ever created? Today you'll discover why $1 billion industry quietly depends on you believing that myth, why one of the biggest ideas in psychology completely collapsed, and why the people you admire most became disciplined without depending on willpower. Let me ask you a question, and answer honestly. How many times have you restarted your life? A new notebook, a new workout plan, a productivity app, a morning routine, a promise that this time you're finally going to become the person you've always wanted to be. You don't need me to tell you what happens next. You've lived this story before. That's why it hurts. Because deep down, you already know how this story ends. For a few days, everything feels different. You wake up early. You eat better. You train. You focus. You finally feel like you've become one of those disciplined people everyone talks about. Then, something changes. The alarm rings. You hit snooze. Once. Twice. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes Monday. Monday becomes next month. The notebook stays empty. The running shoes quietly become a place to leave your keys. And eventually, you're standing in front of another failed attempt wondering, what is wrong with me? Most people already have an answer. You need more discipline. You don't want success badly enough. Champions simply do what losers refuse to do. It sounds convincing until you stop and think about it. Because if that's true, why do millions of people keep repeating exactly the same cycle? Year after year after year. Why does almost everyone know exactly what they should do, yet so few people actually do it? Maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe you've been trying to solve the right problem with the wrong tool. Because if discipline really depended on winning a battle against yourself every single day, then consistency would be almost impossible. Not just for you, for everyone, including elite athletes. So either they possess some kind of superhuman ability, or we've misunderstood what discipline actually is. And in 2013, someone accidentally admitted exactly that. His name was Richard Samber. For 15 years, he served as the finance director of Weight Watchers, one of the largest self-transformation companies in the world. After retiring, he sat down for an interview. The journalist asked him a simple question. If most customers eventually regain the weight, how does the business keep growing? Most executives would have avoided that question. Samber didn't. He smiled. Then he said something that should have become one of the biggest headlines in self-improvement history. That's where your business comes from. That might be one of the most honest and disturbing business confessions ever recorded. Read that one more time. That's where your business comes from. Think about what that actually means. The customer who permanently changes leaves forever. But the customer who fails blames themselves, tries another program, buys another book, downloads another app, starts another Monday, and comes back again and again. Failure isn't simply part of the business. For many companies, it's the business model. Now, before you think this is just about dieting, it isn't. Because the exact same belief quietly spread into almost every corner of modern self-improvement. Books, courses, podcasts, morning routines, discipline gurus, different products, same promise. If you failed, you simply didn't push hard enough. Notice what never gets questioned. The method. Only you. Every failure becomes personal. Every setback becomes proof that you're weak. And every new beginning becomes another opportunity to buy another solution. It's a brilliant system, as long as you never ask one dangerous question. What if the method itself is wrong? Because for almost 30 years, the entire discipline industry rested on one scientific idea. An idea you've probably heard without even realizing it. That willpower works like a muscle. Use it, and it gets tired. Train it, and it gets stronger. It became one of the most influential theories in modern psychology. Books were written about it. Careers were built on it. Entire industries repeated it as fact. Then, in 2016, scientists decided to test it again. They expected to confirm it. Instead, they broke it. And when they did, almost everything we believed about discipline had to be rebuilt from the ground up, including the way elite athletes actually become consistent. For almost 30 years, this single idea shaped how millions of people understood discipline. Parents believed it. Teachers repeated it. Coaches built entire careers around it. If someone failed, the explanation seemed obvious. They ran out of willpower. It sounded elegant. Every time you resisted temptation, your mental battery drained a little more. Keep resisting, and eventually, there would be nothing left. It explained failed diets. It explained procrastination. It explained why New Year's resolutions rarely survived February. There was just one problem. When scientists went back to test it, the evidence wasn't there. In 2016, researchers from 23 laboratories around the world attempted one of the largest replication projects in modern psychology. Thousands of participants, the same hypothesis, the same prediction. If willpower really worked like a muscle, this was its chance to prove it. Instead, the effect almost completely disappeared. Not smaller, not weaker, almost gone. Imagine discovering that one of the foundations of modern architecture was built on concrete that never fully hardened. That's what this felt like. And yet, almost nothing changed. The books stayed on the shelves, the courses kept selling, the motivational speeches sounded exactly the same. Nobody stopped selling discipline. They simply kept selling the old explanation. Because whether the theory survived or collapsed, the story was simply too profitable to abandon. If you failed, you didn't need a better system. You just needed more willpower. It's comforting. It's simple. It's also incomplete. Because if discipline isn't powered by endless willpower, then what are elite performers actually relying on? Researchers decided to ask a completely different question, and the answer changed everything. A team of researchers in Germany followed more than 200 people for an entire week. Instead of asking them what they planned to do, they measured what actually happened. Throughout the day, participants received random notifications. Every time, they answered one simple question. Right now, are you resisting a temptation? The prediction seemed obvious. The most disciplined people should spend the most time resisting temptation. That's what discipline is, isn't it? Sacrifice, resistance, winning the battle inside your own head. But once again, the data told a completely different story. The people with the highest levels of self-control reported the fewest moments of temptation. Read that again. The most disciplined people experience the least amount of internal conflict. That sounds impossible. Until you realize what they'd been doing all along. They weren't stronger, they weren't more motivated, they were better architects. There wasn't junk food sitting on the kitchen counter. So there was no battle at 11 o'clock at night. Their phone wasn't lying next to their laptop. So there was no decision to resist checking it every 5 minutes. Their workouts happened at the same place, at the same time, on the same days. The decision had already been made. While everyone else was trying to become mentally stronger, they quietly removed the situations that demanded strength in the first place. And suddenly, elite athletes begin to make a lot more sense. People look at Kobe Bryant and think, he had unbelievable discipline, but they're looking at the wrong moment. They see the workout, the championships, the sacrifices, the 4 o'clock mornings. What they don't see is everything that happened long before any of it. The routine, the schedule, the environment, the standards, the identity. By the time Kobe walked into the gym, the battle was already over. The workout was just the scoreboard. The hardest decision hadn't been made that morning. It had been made months earlier, sometimes years earlier. The same is true for Michael Phelps, for Cristiano Ronaldo, for almost every elite performer you can think of. People assume they became champions because they won more battles against themselves. The evidence suggests something completely different. They became champions because they needed to fight fewer battles in the first place. And maybe that's what discipline has been all along. Not becoming stronger, becoming smarter. So if discipline isn't about becoming mentally stronger, what should you do instead? The answer is surprisingly simple. Stop trying to win the battle. Start removing the battlefield. Think about your average day. How many decisions do you negotiate before lunch? Should I wake up now or hit snooze? Should I work or check my phone? Should I cook or order food? Should I go to the gym or skip today? Every single one of those decisions creates friction. Not because they're difficult, because every decision becomes a negotiation. And negotiations are exhausting. Imagine driving a car with the parking brake half engaged. The engine works harder. You burn more fuel. The journey feels longer. Not because the road changed, but because you created unnecessary resistance. That's how most people live. They don't lose because they're weak. They lose because every meaningful action requires an argument with themselves. Elite performers understand something different. Every unnecessary decision is another opportunity to fail. So they remove the decision. Not through motivation, through design. The workout is already scheduled. The clothes are already prepared. The healthy food is already waiting. The distractions are already gone. The environment quietly pushes them toward the right behavior, long before motivation has a chance to disappear. People think champions have extraordinary discipline. Most of the time, they have extraordinary systems. Because emotions change, systems don't. But there's one final piece, and I think it's the piece almost everyone misses. You can build the perfect routine, the perfect environment, the perfect schedule. Eventually, something deeper has to change. Not your motivation, your identity. Because there's a huge difference between these two sentences. I have to work out today. I'm an athlete. One requires a decision, The other describes a person. Athletes train. Readers read. Writers write. Leaders lead. Champions don't wake up asking whether they feel like becoming champions today. They simply act like the person they've already decided to become. That's what identity does. It quietly eliminates thousands of decisions, not because you're forcing yourself, but because acting differently would feel strange. The people we admire didn't wake up one day with unstoppable discipline. They slowly became the kind of person who no longer questioned the behaviors that built their success. That's why consistency eventually looks effortless. You're not watching discipline, you're watching identity. So, go back to the beginning of this video. Go back to the unfinished notebook, the abandoned workout plan, the alarm you snoozed, the promises you made to yourself. For years, you probably looked at those moments and saw proof that something was wrong with you. Maybe you were lazy, maybe you lacked discipline, maybe you just weren't built like the people you admired. But what if those moments were never evidence of weakness? What if they were evidence that you'd been trying to solve the right problem with the wrong tool? You kept trying to build consistency, using willpower, when what you really needed was architecture. You don't need to become someone who can win a war against themselves every morning. You need to become someone who rarely has to fight it at all. That's the dark truth about discipline. The strongest people aren't the ones who win the biggest battles. They're the ones who design lives where those battles almost never happen. Not more willpower, less friction. Not more motivation, better systems. Not endless self-control, a stronger identity. One day, people will look at your consistency and call it discipline. They'll never see the systems that made it inevitable. And that's exactly how you'll know you've done it right. If this video changed the way you think about discipline, I want to ask you for one small favor. I'm building this channel from zero. Every script, every hour of research, every video is created with one goal: to make the kind of content that genuinely changes how people think, not just motivates them for a few minutes. So if you honestly got value from this, take 2 seconds to subscribe and leave a like. It costs you nothing. But for a channel that's just getting started, it means everything. It also tells YouTube that this video deserves to reach someone else who might need to hear it. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. I'll see you in the next one.